Hey, what's up guys? I wanted to give you guys an update on these fish now that they have been in this tank a while. I did go back, however, and I did purchase some of the, technically all of the rest of the fish off of that guy that I met on Craigslist, and I also put them in here as well. I felt comfortable enough to get them in here because I didn't see any issues. One did have an issue. This Chile tilapia, I told you guys, I think I might have mentioned that I was going to get him, and he did have a big gash on his forehead, which is now healing. You could see the remnants of what is left over from that. I did contact IFG on Facebook or Messenger once again, and I had asked him what he thought of it, and he said that I initially thought it was hole in the head, and I did not know how to treat hole in the head, so that's what I asked him, and he responded that it was not hole in the head, that I should quarantine and treat with general cure. So that's exactly what I did for a few days until I was comfortable enough to get him in here. And after I got him in here, I had treated this entire tank with a couple different medications. I'm not going to go over exactly what medications I had used, but I told you guys before that I had some issues that I was worried about with these guys, and pretty much those issues cleared right up. One of the issues was the cloudy eye and this yellow chin hair, and his eyes, as you see, are completely clear now. I treated for that. I also treated for fin rot because some of these guys, their fins weren't looking the way I wanted them to look. And I think now that that is due to just aggression and fighting and their predatory instincts. As you see, I did put a Pepsi can in here. These fish absolutely love Pepsi. They love drinking it. It puts them in a better mood, and it also colors. No, I'm joking. I put this Pepsi can in here purposely just for this video, so that it's more of a size reference. Because it's really hard for me to show you guys the size of these fish without putting something else in here to give you reference to. Just to go over a couple of the new guys, that guy right there that just went past is a tangerine tiger. He's just huge. He's probably one of the biggest tangerine tigers I've ever seen in person. Sorry, I can't talk. There was some issues with him at one point, not for me, but if I can show you his eye, his other eye there is missing. I mean, it's still there, it just healed over, so he must have had some issues in the past. Another one that I went there for is this guy, the Malawi trout. It's funny because I remember when mine was this big, and he's just starting to show some color now, as you see, which is kind of sad because the guy, he let him grow out for the longest time, he said, and he waited for him to color up, and he's now starting to color up. So for him to have to get rid of him, that kind of sucks. But I did measure him out. He's literally 8 inches in size, almost exactly. And as you see mine right here, you can see the size difference when they color up. Mine is just at about 10 inches. He does have some damage to him, as you see on his side hair too, but he was fired up recently, a couple days ago. His color was like ridiculously crazy, but now he has calmed down a lot. He was trying to fight every fish in here and breed with every fish. I put this in here. This Pepsi can was down here, and it just made its way down here. I had the wave maker off, but I had to turn it back on. I just don't like keeping it off for too long. Plus, I recorded many videos before this, so you guys know, and I start to ramble on and on and on, and I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to hear me talking, so, I mean, just pretty much about nothing sometimes. So I deleted those videos, and I figured I'd try and start over. This way I'm not recording hour videos of fully talking about stuff that you guys don't care about. This guy right here, the Kawingi, He's an amazing looking fish, amazing color. I always thought they were more blue than green, but having one at this size is like, he's just ridiculously colored. He's amazing. But there's a lot of green in him, which I love. As you see, he did take some fighting damage, but it's not because he was being bullied, it's because he was doing the bullying. He's a very, very aggressive fish, I've noticed. One thing I did do after I medicated the tank, I put the Aquascaping rocks back in here, and what that does, in my opinion, it does take up more space in this tank, which I was hesitant about because of the amount of fish that I have in here now. There's 46 fish, and I would say it's not overcrowded, but it's right at that point because of the size of these fish. So those who don't know, this is a 220 gallon tank. That's an Aquascaping background, so it does take up some room in there, which makes this less than 220 gallons. I do plan on getting rid of some of these fish. I do have, like I said, doubles. I have 2 Malawi trouts, 3 red empresses now. I did pick up another red empress from that second order. There's 2 bigger Malawi hawks in here. This guy in the back here is one that I picked up from the second order I purchased off of him. So yeah, I put these rocks in here. It does create some hiding spots for them, which is nice. When they get spooked, they pretty much swim behind these rocks or on the sides of them. And yeah, another one that I had purchased that he keeps appearing on the camera here, right here, this Fusco. He is a beast. Amazing looking fish. He did have some damage to his side when I picked him up, but he no longer has that. He healed up pretty fast. I do have 2 other Fusco in here. Where are they? Right over here. They kind of stick together. I'm pretty sure that's a female. There's no egg spots on her. And if you guys remember, I picked them up when they were like an inch. I'm showing you my fingers, like yeah, that's an inch, but you guys can't really tell. But they were pretty tiny when I picked them up. Where's the second one? There he is. So yeah, oop. This guy is starting to color up too, which is cool. So technically I really didn't need to purchase these, but where I'm from, you don't really run into Malawi haps too often. I do see some at the stores, but here and there, but it's kind of a rarer type of hobby, I guess, where I am. At least as far as I'm aware of, because this guy even had these listed for a while, but nobody was buying them, and he ran into a couple guys who wanted a couple of them, and that was it. So I'm glad I had went when I did and purchased the rest of these up from him, because I may have missed out on them over time. But this sulfur head, he's a bit smaller than the other sulfur head. He is fired up a lot right now. The other sulfur head is up here, as you see. He's a little bit bigger than this guy, but he's fired up and very aggressive. But the other purpose of these rocks being here, which is nice, is a lot of these fish are bigger, so they can't breed in between or try to breed, which is nice. So it had calmed a lot of these guys down, especially my Malawi trout. He was just going crazy until I had these in here. Even with the medications in this tank, they were still trying to breed. Another new one is blue dolphin. Sorry, there he is. Yep, that one. I did have a blue dolphin in here already. The one I picked up was just a tad bit bigger. It's kind of hard to show you guys these fish individually and go over every single one that I had picked up because of the amount that I have in here. You know, I went from around 20 fish to 20 something fish to around 46 fish, so that's a lot to go through. This can was in the middle, now it no longer is, so it's hard to give you reference of a lot of these guys, because let me try to back up here a little bit so they're not all swimming in front of it. But I'm gonna make this, it's all gonna be one video now that I know how to edit that much. So I'm gonna start this over because I'm almost at 10 minutes of recording. Alright, there we go. This yellow chin, I think I went over that already. His eyes cleared up a lot, which is nice. No more issues there. A few of these guys had cloudy eyes, which that all cleared up now. My Rostratus's eyes are still puffy. I still need to figure that out. I know what I have to do. I'm not a fan of doing what I need to do to him. So it's going to take me some time to get comfortable enough to get his eyes fixed the way I need to. I could lose him in the process, so I'm going to hope for the best. See if I can back up here. Show you guys where I sit here. Pretty much have that on the floor right now. There's about probably less than 3 feet in between the tank. Normally it sits right up here next to the 75 gallon, which I have all the lights off right now so that I can show you guys this tank. This guy's out, which is cool. He's never out. That's the electric blue I told you about that my buddy gave it to me. I took those branches out and he used to hide inside the branches, so now that that's out, he comes out. And so now with me zoomed away here, you can see that Pepsi can a little bit better with some of these guys. Some of them are double the size of it. And Pepsi cans are about 5 inches, I think, in length. Yep. These two are going at it, the yellow chin and tangerine tiger. Pretty big guys to be swimming around that fast and chasing each other. It gets, like I said, it gets scary when you got big monstrous guys or fish going after each other. You don't know what is going to happen, how much damage they can create to each other, but they tend to stop before anything happens. They do nip fins and nip the bodies, so I don't like that part of it, but it's going to happen no matter what you do in these tanks. I'm not really a big fan of overcrowding, so you guys know this isn't really what I enjoy doing. Some people say overcrowd. I gotta say the tanks are beautiful overcrowded. It's very cool to see all these fish in a tank like this, but I do plan on getting rid of a bunch. I have like the red empresses. I'm gonna pick one out. The Malawi hawks, I have 4 in there, 2 juveniles, 2 full grown, well, just under full grown. And then the 2 juveniles, I'm hoping I have some females out of them, but we'll see. If not, like I said, I'm going to trade them in or sell them. What else? That one Malawi trout, I may get rid of him. I'm not really sure. My buddy has a fish tank, and I'm not sure if I think he wants a sulfur head, wants a couple of them, but we'll see about that in the future. Trying to think what else is in here that I can. This Z-Rock right here, he's new. Let me check this light because it doesn't seem like this side. Yep, there we go. This side just wasn't giving off enough light so that you can see. That guy right there is new, Z-Rock. What else? Not really sure. Like I said, there's so many fish in here that it's kind of hard to go over everyone individually. As far as the first order, this Phosphorochromis rostratus, he's finally coloring up. When I had picked him up, the guy did not. He said he's never really colored up the way he wanted him to, so he is coloring up now, though. So, which is a good sign. Hopefully, he gets more color than even that, because that's still not where he should be. This Intermedius is new. You can see him compared to the Pepsi can. He's pretty big. Beautiful fish. I had one from Beantown Aquatics. He was about a $60, little less than $60 fish. I think around $52, give or take. And he was a wild caught, and he was only about a 3-inch fish. And he came, and he died the same day that he came. So that was pretty upsetting. But this kind of makes up for that, which is really cool. This guy's way bigger than what he is, or he was. The Kawingi. Let's see here. The Venistus. Really beautiful looking fish. Bucochromis nodotanea. This guy's pretty big. One that somebody asked me about is this guy right here. Trying to point to him there. And he is a Bucochromis heterotanea. Sorry, some of these names are just ridiculous, I guess. That's actually not really a hard name to say. Heterotanea. That one right there, the Exochromis anagenes, Exochromis, which is the yellow fish back there, does have some blue on him, which hopefully that'll become more dominant in him, in his face, and I think over time it will. Right next to him is this ornatus. This was the original sulfur head, the guy with the yellow head there, yellow stripe, from the first order. I mean, there's probably a bunch more in here. I'm not going to go over each one. I think that this is kind of boring, you guys, and here I am rambling on again. But this Chilla tilapia is just one amazing looking fish. Try to zoom in on him. He is huge. Can't wait for his head to finish healing up and see how he turns out with color. Mine was just tiny compared to him. That was mine. You guys remember I purchased 2 of them from my LFS, and I gave one to my friend who actually lost pretty much every fish that I had gave him. It's kind of sad. I wish I would have waited to give him them until he was more experienced, but I guess you live and you learn. But the fish that I did give to him, he left hot water running, and yeah, you guys could imagine what happened, I guess, from there. I'm not gonna go over that completely, but we all make mistakes in the hobby. I had lost some fish recently. My son came down here, and these switches right here, he had shut off on me, and I didn't check them after he was playing with them, which I should have. And I think it was just overnight I lost about 6 fish because there was nothing on, no power to anything. It's kind of sad. So like I said, we all make mistakes, things happen. But his tanks are all doing awesome. I did do a video on his tanks at one point, but again, I didn't upload it. I was going through a lot at that time, so I wasn't able to do the things that I wanted to. But yeah, I'll get back over there eventually, and I'll give you guys an update on his 125, along with his other fish tanks that he has now, because you can't just have 1 or 2. In the 125, I have a couple new fish as well, and the 75, I also have new fish in there with the Fahaka puffer. Eventually, we'll go over those fish. In the 125, there's 4 new fish. There's 2 clown loaches that I picked up from him. They're pretty decent size, and I also picked up a female intermedius and a Malawi gar. The Malawi gar is too small to tell whether it's a male or female. I'm excited to see what that turns into, though. Hopefully a nice male so I can get him in here. By the time he grows out, I should have a bigger tank, but we'll see. Alright guys, I'm going to get this Pepsi can out of this tank. It just looks funny in there. It is open, but I did, obviously, like I said, the fish love Pepsi, so I'm joking. Once again, don't feed your fish Pepsi or pour it in your tank. I cleaned the can out before I put it in here. But I will see you guys in the next update.